Hey everyone, this is Carlos, founder and CEO of Product School, and today I'm here with founder and CEO at Pendo, Todd Olson. Hey Todd.
Hey Carlos, how you doing?
Thanks for joining the show. You're a regular. Last time I had you here was many years ago, and I'm sure there's been a lot of good news in between.
I hope so.
Well, let's start from the beginning. What is kind of like the inspiration behind starting Pendo, when not so many people were thinking about product management as a category?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a couple things, right? And look, I mean, like some folks have heard my story, know that Pendo was born out of my prior experience. So prior to starting Pendo, I was the VP of product at a company called Rally Software, B2B SaaS company. And it's a couple of things I saw and a couple, kind of areas of pain that I experienced. And the first was getting really good data for informing my product decisions. I would get data once in a while, but it wouldn't be complete. And I was always sort of missing a few things. So I decided to hire data scientists. This would have been like, this has been like 2012, 2011-ish. I hired a data science and a product team, which is probably a lot of product teams had data scientists in like 2012, 2011 timeframe. And I hired him. I was like, okay, all my problems are going to be solved. And then like a month or two later, he came to me and he's like, well, no, we can't do this because of this reason. We don't have data in this product. This product's too old. This one's brand new. I get like a bunch of reasons. I was like, well, that stinks, and then he tells me it'll take, I don't know, 30, 60, maybe 90 days of engineering work with a team working on to like fix all these problems. Like, oh, that seems expensive. And so that was like one pain point was super frustrating. Another pain point, which I experienced there was as a product team, we wanted to ship faster and faster. Our engineering teams wanted to go faster. Like we were kind of shifting more to this continuous release style development. And look, as a product person, and I'm a former engineer, like I want to go fast. Like I love speed. Like I ship. Like that is one of my core mantras. Ship it. If it's ready, get it out there. But our users can't keep up with all that change always. So what our users can consume versus what we can ship, there's an impedance mismatch, right? So and invariably I'd find myself at Rally talking to someone, and they would like, I would talk to like some owner or some buyer or some customer, and they'd say, hey, it'd be great if you did this. And I say, whoa, we shipped that like 2 months ago. Didn't you know? So when you're shipping so fast that your customers have no idea that you shipped it, like that's a problem. Yeah, a good problem to have, but still a problem. So we started experimenting with some in-app messages there, but very, very like one-off and kind of hard. And I'll never forget, we announced a feature, we called it new. And we had no idea if anyone saw the announcement or not. So we left it in the product for 6 months. Now you could argue after like 3 months, it wasn't new anymore, but without knowing whether someone saw it, we just kind of were conservative. And that was one of like the use cases that like stuck in my head when I started Pendo. It was like, okay, if we have this usage data, so we know what people are doing, and we want to like teach people, like this combination allows us to personalize the experience so that new badge can go away when someone uses it. And that is really powerful because one, you're touching people and educating something that they may not know. Two, it's disappearing when they do know it, so it's not complicating the UI. I think that would be an amazing use case. So that was kind of how we got here. That was the thinking. It was all born out of pain. So pains I experienced, and it's always a great place to start.
I remember when I first heard of Pendo many years ago, you guys were one of the first tools or products designed for product managers, which is very meta. Like there's a lot of technology out there for designers, marketers, sales, and so on, but there wasn't really that much for PMs.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why. Because when we started Pendo and right around that time, the narrative in the VC community and general business community was build for marketing. It's the largest variable spend in the enterprise. And even when we started Pendo, and I would go to prospective investors and I say, hey, we're building for product. They're like, no, you should do marketers. I hear there's more money there. It's like, yeah, I get it. But like, I really know this product role better. And I think there's an opportunity to build a category around this role that has basically been not loved, in terms of a software company. So, and then the next thing out of pretty much everyone's mouth was something to the effect of, well, there's no budget in product. And the number of times I've heard from people that there's no budget in product, I was like, well, somehow we're still here and we're growing like decent amounts. So like people are finding budget. It may not have existed, but it surely exists now. And I think that was one of those leaps of faith, so to speak, that look, if we build something of value, people will find money for it. And I always would reverse it back to like the VCs and investment communities. Like, look, there's no budget in product because there hasn't been things to buy. It's a classic chicken and the egg problem. It's like, well, now that there are things to buy, guess what? Budgets are going to start appearing, but you have to have something to buy. No one's going to just put a line item like tools to be invented sometime in the future. Like that's not going to occur. So you kind of have to have a little bit of a leap of faith and know that if you're going to build something of value, then you'll get dollars for it. And I've always said, like, product managers have budgets for humans. Like we hire product managers. Like that's always existed. Why can't they have budget for tools? So I think that's been kind of a fun part of the journey, to be honest. It's kind of proving those people wrong. I won't lie. It provides me just a little extra motivation day in, day out. So proving people wrong feels good.
And it's been a crazy and amazing journey, because what started with basically a solution to a few pain points that you had evolved into an incredible platform for thousands of people. So what is what is Pendo today? Like the platform and all these different use cases that you cover for the entire product management team?
Yeah, look, so we call it a broad platform and the most complete platform to drive product adoption. So we exist to help people adopt software better, and it's really comprised of three main pieces. One, product analytics or product insights. I think what makes us unique in that market is that when you drop us into your application, we collect everything with no developer instrumentation or work required at all, and that was actually very novel when we first built that solution. It's still a big part of the reason why we win. And again, it comes back to pain. I struggled to get developers to do it, so I wanted to invent a solution that didn't require it. It's really, really basic, but that still today is one of our core tenets. The second one is an internet messaging guidance platform, and that's everything from guided tours to tool tips, and then it's connected to the data, so you can, again, personalize that UI. And the last major piece is around customer feedback and road mapping. It's this whole idea of if you have a sense for what people want, in terms of feedback requests, it helps steer the direction of the product. And the reality is pretty much all product managers need all three of those things. You may not need all of it from Pendo day one, but eventually you're going to have those problems. And look, that's kind of where we are today. I think there's obviously going to be future innovation, but those are the three main pillars of our software application today.
That's a very interesting approach, because I've also seen different platform or products out there who focus on one specific category.
Yeah.
You decided to take more of a platform approach to cover multiple. So What is the kind of the rationale behind that?
Look, I guess we started a little broad. And I'll tell you why. We have a lot of arguments. Like, you talk to like product people, like focus, and I kept saying I am focused. Damn it! So I was like, I don't think I've ever not been focused. Trust me. But what I want to solve is driving more. I'm focused on solving a problem. That problem is driving more engagement in a software application. It just so happens that I think the best solution to that problem is broad. Because for example, I can focus on being the best product analytics vendor in the world, but the question is, to what end? What are you trying to do with the data? What's the why behind the data? Data in business serves a purpose. The purpose is having more engagement in this particular case. But to solve that problem, well, you need more than just data. You need to do something with it. You need to drive action. So I think day one, I was like, look, I don't want to ship a product that has one piece. I think we need to solve this problem and nail it. And it comes out of like jobs to be done frameworks. Like, what are you hiring Pendo to do? Well, I'm hiring Pendo to increase the engagement of my software application. That's why you hire us. So I think that's been the fundamental solution or fundamental strategy. Day one is like going a little bit broader. And look, we built an app messaging platform like month 2 at Pendo. Month 2. Like it wasn't like I even went deep at all. Like we went broad really fast. And that was to set the tone for the rest of the company, that we are unafraid to be a little bit broad. And look, when we were a tiny company, it was hard. It was really hard. Like, how do you invest in one versus the other? I mean, we was talking about some discussions. Like, there were fun discussions. Now we're big enough where we have like over 20 Scrum teams or something like that. So now we can kind of work on everything. So we do have the benefit of just size and scale now. But yeah, I think that's been our bet. My bet has been the ultimate winner in this category is going to have a broad platform. And I still think I'm feeling good about that bet right now, Carlos. So like, I mean, I'm not saying we've won. I'm not saying the other, like, you know, but I'm saying I'm feeling good about the bet.
And I'm feeling good too. And as a proud user of the product, I can tell. Another thing that I want to kind of dig deeper into your own personal journey as a founder. You talked about scratching your own itch and now building something much bigger than yourself with hundreds of team members. So how is that journey like? Like, how did you have to kind of grow yourself to continue being the CEO for the company?
Yeah, look, I mean, look, I started as a technologist, you know, so I'm by training kind of a computer engineer, computer scientist. But I've always started my career in you know, being connected to business. So while I've always been a technologist, I love building things. You know, I started working at age 14 for a bank and almost in an analyst role where I was like talking to the business, understanding what they need to help run their business and helping build programs to meet those needs. And I've always enjoyed that kind of that marriage of business and technology. So I think that's been a passion of me day one. Honestly, I think the thing that's the first thing that you have to do when you're trying to be a CEO or trying to grow is being intentional. Like, I'll be honest, this is my third startup, and the second one I started, I thought that I couldn't be the CEO. I assumed that I was too technical, or I needed some sales background, or I didn't have a broad enough set of skills. So I think very few people would say I lack confidence. So I don't think it was like a lack of confidence. It was a lack of understanding what the CEO role was. I saw other CEOs and they had different backgrounds than I did. And I said, well, my background's like that. I shouldn't do it. I'll bring someone else in. And finally with Pendo, because honestly, my prior companies and startups didn't work out quite the way I wanted it. I was kind of insistent, like, I feel like I need to give this a try. So like the first thing is like being intentional, like about what your role is, what you want it to be, and then building around that. So, okay, if I want to be a CEO, but I'm also pretty technical, I probably need a really good CTO that can unburden me from all those things so I don't get pulled back into roles that I'm comfortable doing. And I think that's one of the key things is in order to be a CEO, you need to be able to let go. And in order to let go, you have to have people working on your team that you're confident enough just to kind of like let go. And I think, you know, if you look at our founding team, I surrounded myself with people I was comfortable letting go to. And that frees me up to learn new things, build new skills, to grow in new ways. So I think that's probably the first thing. I think with respect to how I've grown the most, though, and this has been helpful because I've had different experiences at different companies, it's really on like the people side, the softer skills, building culture. I mean, I've always had passion, but like, you know, defining core values and being an empathetic leader and those are the skills I have to work the most on, and are the hardest for me naturally. Like, I can be generally pretty type A, hard charging individual. I need to be a different kind of leader to scale at this level, and so I work on it. I read a lot, talk to a lot of people. I have a professional coach, like all those things. I mean, these are the things that I do to be better at my craft. But it's work. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's work.
And I love that. And I think there is a pattern that I've identified from speaking with different CEOs and product leaders. It's like they keep learning. Like no matter where you are today, there's always something new to learn. And I think having that vulnerability to and awareness to recognize what are some of the areas where, first of all, you are or you are not passionate about, and like how you want to figure that out, either by letting go or by going deep, it's really, really powerful.
Yeah. Oh, look, I always say, people ask me how long I'm going to work or how long I'm going to do this. Like, as long as I'm learning and having fun, like, I'm just for a long time. I love it. I learn something new every single day. But like, if it got boring, like that would be less interesting to me. But that's a great part of the job. I mean, as you're scaling, as you're growing, certainly in this role. I mean, I also joke too, like I'm the only person probably in role that would probably never get hired for this role, because you're basically hiring. Who would hire me? Like, I've never seen like the next 3 years in terms of being a CEO, right? So like, you would never hire me to do that job, right? So like I would never hire me. So I'm lucky. I kind of get this kind of free pass almost to learn on the job, but it also makes my job super fun and super engaging. And as long as I can hire people under me, which do push me and challenge me and are respective experts within their fields, it frees me up to focus on vision and culture and mission and telling the story and honestly things I love doing. So I think it all works, but yeah, I think learning, having that passion and curiosity is absolutely critical.
I know a few executives of your team, and I can attest to their quality. And I think that also speaks to the quality of the CEO, like being able to surround yourself by incredible people. That's really like the name of the game at the end of the day. Like, we can't do this alone.
No, I mean, look, the CEO's got 3 jobs. They say, attract the right people. So, and hire them, make sure you have the right team. Second one is make sure everyone's kind of knows the mission, focused and heading in the right direction. And third thing, not run out of money. If I do those 3 things, like, we'll be great. And look, yeah, I mean, I love recruiting. I think some people know this about me. I still interview nearly every person in the company, and it drives my recruiting team up a wall. I get, because you can imagine there are some days I probably do 7 interviews. so which is, I mean, honestly, it's just a little exhausting some days. I mean, I love it. One day I did 10 interviews. But like, it's actually like, look, if I can help make sure we have the right people at Pendo, I get so much scale, not having to worry about whatever it is they're working on. Like, that's good for me. So I'd rather invest my energies in that than other things. So yeah, very, very passionate about that.
And what is your relationship with the product team?
You should probably ask them, Carlos. But I know. I think it's great. So and actually fun. I mean, I am now the acting chief product officer. We're going through a transition right now. So I've been getting closer to the team, and actually we have a product leadership summit in the next couple of days that I'm facilitating with them, and I'm looking forward to rolling up my sleeves and getting back in it with them. But like, I'm very close to product. I'm still actively involved in setting the direction, but also like focusing on the details, reviewing the outcomes. Like I'm a member of the product team, and I think our product is a key part of how we win. So I think it's being a member of the team, asking challenging questions, even writing specs from time to time. Over the weekend, like, I was really passionate about something, and I was worried I wouldn't be able to communicate it well, and I sat down and just wrote a spec. I was like, this is what I think we should build. And that's questions about areas I want to do research in some areas. Like, I want to talk to some customers about some, but like, it's a general straw man. Like, let's go validate this. This feels good to me. I'm not always that hands-on, but like, I was just feeling it over the weekend, and I was like talking to my wife, like, what are you doing? I was like, I decided to write a spec for it. It was a long weekend. It felt like a good thing to do. So that's the relationship. I love design reviews. I mean, heck, I'll talk an hour about fonts if you want to. Like I really care about them. Like, some fonts make a product feel engaging and warm. Some don't. Like, I want of course I want the warm, engaging fonts, but you get my idea. Like these little details, like I'm incredibly passionate about all of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's a great relationship, but I love being like in the trenches with folks. It gets me excited.
And I can feel your passion, and I think that's so validating for what you're building. If you're building for product people, the ultimate product person is the CEO, and you really believe in what you are doing. You're empowering the team, and that's ultimately we have conversations with a lot of PMs and aspiring PMs, and it's like, well, where should I work? And like, a lot of people will come with the idea of like, I want to work at Google, and like, well, that might be an option, but like, try to understand who's the CEO of the company you want to work for and how much they value product.
Yeah. Look, in general, you want to go to an organization where you're going to get challenged, where you're going to grow, and you're going to learn how to be great at your craft. And I think I like to think that we understand how it is to be done, the role, the practice, and it's a great place to learn. I never forget. One of my key like decisions. I started my first company. I was like 20 years old. And this company was recruiting me down here in North Carolina. That's why I'm in North Carolina. And I was doing a conversation with one of their executives about deciding, should I go, should I not go? Because I'd been an entrepreneur, and I was like, do I really want to join some other company? And I remember sitting across from him at lunch, and this guy said, look, this is a like real software company. Like, we've got great product market fit. We know what we're doing. We're well funded. Like he's like, you're going to learn a lot. Like, this is a professionally run software company. And you know what? It was. Now, come to learn, and it was a bit of there was some craziness there. And but look, at the end of the day, I learned a ton. I grew a lot. We built great product, but a great outcome. Don't regret even a minute of that decision, because it was a professional place. And I pride ourselves on that type of culture. This is a professional software company. This is what we do for a living. And I've been doing it since I was 20. So like, we know how to do it. The people we hire have done it before. And I like that part of like the culture here. And if that's what you're looking for, you want to be in software, come here. Like, we know what we're doing. So there's benefits to that.
Are you saying that you're hiding?
We are always hiring. Yeah, I think we have, I don't know how many, like 70 open positions. No, it is a little crazy. We hired, I think, 120 people last quarter. So I think we're trying to hire another 120-ish this quarter. So we're almost doubling our headcount this year. So massive growth year. Feels good though. It feels good. I'm enjoying a lot of the new faces.
So because I'm sure you have a lot of free time, then you decide to go and write a book. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, why not? So I wouldn't say I had like a surplus of free time, but like I thought, like I got approached by a publisher, and we're talking about it, and I felt called to do it. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I've been approached in the past earlier in my career. I never really felt passionate about any given topic, and we started talking. I got really passionate in this notion of being product led and what it means. And there weren't a lot of books on it. And I thought that it was going to be a unique book, in terms of the story to be told. Like, look, there are some great books around the role of product manager. Like, I didn't want to like obviously compete with Marty Kagan on anything. I didn't want to create or Melissa Perry and some of her, like, there's great books out there, right? I wanted to make sure that whatever story I told was unique, and I feel like what we were able to put together in this book in terms of the stories, the focus, I think is pretty unique. It's a unique story to be told. And that is what I really cared about the most. It's also, it's actually a lot like me, the book, I guess I wrote it, so that's not shocking, but very practical, like a lot of stories from my past. But I've been told by a number of folks that have read it that no, I roll up my sleeves. It's clear, like there are definitely details in that book. And I love that. So hopefully you you could read it front to back and enjoy it, or you could just open up a chapter and get something valuable out of opening up the chapter. I wanted to be able to solve both use cases with that book. And I'm hearing good feedback, but please, folks, read it, give me feedback. I'm always looking to grow myself as an author.
So the book is titled The Product-Led Organization, Drive Growth by Putting Product at the Center of Your Customer Experience. Let's talk about product-led and product-led organization, because this is a term that has been thrown around relatively recently, and I think that it's important to put some clarity. So what is product-led and a product-led organization?
Yeah, look, so how we define it may be a bit unique than other folks. It's companies that put product at the center of their overall customer experience. So it's centered to basically everything they do. It's not like the product management team leads the company, or it's just specific to some sort of product-led growth funnel. It's literally every department can leverage the product, be better at its role. And it's really more of a mindset shift from companies being more human-led to product-led. And that's how I kind of characterize it. And I like to give lots of examples, but we have companies I've worked with or met that the finance team uses the product to collect invoices. That's a product-led business. That is, they could of course dial or email, be very, very manual, or they can find ways to create automation through the product. One of the stories I love to tell is I noticed this company that embedded in the code of the product, I was looking at the source code, it said, "Come work for our company." Like, that's a recruiting team going to the product team and saying, "Hey, people that look at our source code probably would be good developers to work here. Can we drop something in here to drive sourcing?" It's a product-led recruiting team. Like there's a lot of ways to be product-led beyond just creating a freemium model or creating a self-service, conversion funnel. Those are also obviously product-led models as well, but self-service. Like, when customers get stuck using your product, like, do you help them? Do you have areas in product where they can search for help? Do they have areas where they can, that's another product-led motion. So these are all examples of how I think about it. But that's a general premise of the book. And also, I think we also have kind of a section on what it means to be data-driven as a product manager. Because I think the first step in being product-led is just having some sense of data and a baseline. But yeah, that's the general overview. Happy to go into any more detail though.
I mean, I could go for hours. I love this stuff. So I would like to thank you, first of all. It's been awesome to learn from you and spend this time together. What else can we go to continue learning about Pendo and checking out your book?
Yeah, look, obviously, www.pendo.io, Pendo.io has a lot of great resources. Also, Pendo sponsors Product Craft. That's www.productcraft.com. A lot of great resources on there. Those are two great ones. Obviously, for those in the audience, you're already going to product school, continue going to product school as well. So great resources there to develop your career. But yeah, those are great ones.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Todd. I hope next time we chat doesn't need to be like 4 years from now. We'll continue checking out your product. It's really cool. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks, Carlos.